Welcome to the CrossFit Garage podcast, where we are helping you lay a firm foundation in fitness, food, and finances. I am your host, Andy McCann, owner of CrossFit Garage, and sometimes I have my kids on here with me. They are level 1 coaches for the most part. Only Evie is still waiting to turn 16 so she can go get her level 1 certificate. Anyway, today we're going to talk stimulus, and what does that mean? The intended stimulus is way more important than going RX. If your goal while you're at the gym is to go RX, then you're missing what we're trying to do. Now, I say that knowing that there are some workouts like Barbara, which is about to come up this coming Monday on April 1st, and that is a named workout. Some people are going to go after it as a named workout. Good for you, sure. I think I used to do that all the time, but the days of understanding and doing that are kind of past for me. I understand that there is an intended stimulus that they're trying to get us to go to do, and for CrossFit, it's usually an 8 to 12 minute workout doing couplets and triplets. That being said, it doesn't always work out like that. If you look at the bell-shaped curve of things you could do, sometimes we do go on a 10K run. We had a 2-mile jog the other day, and sometimes all we're doing is lifting. So those are the two extremes, and then usually it's in the middle. CrossFit the idea is to help you become harder to kill using the minimum dosing for the maximum effort. So that, again, is going to be 8 to 12 minute workout with couplets or triplets. So CrossFit is constantly varied functional movements executed at high intensity sometimes. My goal is to help you become the hero of your own story using this stuff. So whether you're just starting, so I just left college and I didn't do anything in college and I'm fat and out of shape, I need to do something. Or you're a dad or mom and you're like, crap, I had kids and I did all this stuff for the kids. I forgot to take care of me. Can I get started? How do I get fit? This is the hack to getting fit. And I promise you that if you just follow the stimulus and listen to the coach, you're going to have marvelous results. You're going to move the needle and everything is going to look good. A year from now, you're going to be going, damn, look at me. I give you this promise. If you're not a member, or even if you are a member, if you're not a member and you want to join and you come in 5 days a week, you listen to the coach and you try to hit the stimulus. If you're not fitter a year later, I'll give you double your money back. I'd give you 10 times your money back. I'm going to win. There's no way I could lose because this does what it says. All right. So this is obviously both a YouTube video and a podcast. Our podcast, you can find us on anything, Apple or Spotify. It's just CrossFit Garage. And on YouTube, you have to find me at Andy McCann 42 because I just didn't know how to use YouTube way back when. I put everything under Andy McCann, so whatever. There it is. So, all right. So the intended stimulus. I think what I'd like to do is start off with, because we're using CrossFit affiliate programming, we're doing what, I don't know, maybe a third of the affiliates out there are doing. So tomorrow I'm actually going to go drop in at another person's gym to check out their coaching, and they're doing Barbara as well. So this is great. So we're following the same sort of stuff. It's awesome to be able to compare and contrast what you're doing, not only as a coach, but also as in the programming and your own personal ability, okay? So in this, I am looking at the page from CrossFit Affiliate Programming. It says, Barbara, here is the RX. It is going to be 5 rounds, 20 pull-ups, 30 push-ups, 40 sit-ups, 50 squats, and then you rest 3 minutes. So this can be a very long workout. The goal is to do the work in under 3 minutes and then rest for 3 minutes and then do the right. So you can see how long this workout is going to take. It's going to take 30 minutes ish at a minimum, right? Or 27 at a minimum, probably. They do give intermediate options. The problem with the scaling that they give, here's why we don't post it. It does show up in Modify and usually we'll just delete it out. And here's the reason. They say intermediates, all right? They immediately drop all the reps. Well, what if push-ups, sit-ups, and squat aren't a problem? What if it's just the pull-ups, right? So you just dropped everything. So I don't know. Is that a good thing to do? Maybe. Again, going for the intended stimulus. And then they have beginner. They're like, all right, we're immediately going to jumping pull-ups and then elevated hand push-ups. So you're like, wait a minute. What if I'm pretty fit, but I'm a beginner and I just don't know how to do some of these things? So they've, in my opinion, there's two broad scoping scales and modifications when that's our job, is to help you figure out what you need to do. Okay, so I'm looking at the workout. They have the intended stimulus is 3 to 4 minutes per round for at least the first 2 to 3 rounds, right? Your pull-ups are going to be in 1 to 2 sets. Your push-ups are in 1 to 4 sets. Your sit-ups and squats are in a 3 minutes or less time. And then you're going to rest for 3 minutes, right? So if you look at the intended stimulus right here, I know it's going to crush many people. Wait, you want us to do each round in 4 minutes? I don't even know if that's possible. And it's not. Most of us will not do that. And it'll because the pull-ups are going to get you. For me, it'll be the push-ups. But having done this a bunch of times, I know what I need to do in order to get right in there. And that could be the key is, hey, how do I hit the intended stimulus? So it's 20 pull-ups. But it's 5 rounds of them. That's 100 pull-ups. I don't think I could do 20 every time and feel okay. So what I would probably do is 11 and 9. And then the push-ups. I know that if I try to do 30 push-ups, which I might be able to squeeze out, I'm going to be dead the rest of the time. But if I start by 3s right off the bat, I can keep that going forever. So I don't want to fall off the map. So I'm going to go by 3s every time. The sit-ups, you just do those straight. And the squats, I can do all 50 without stopping, no problem. And it won't be a problem at the end either. That'll be totally fine. But I know that in that 3 minutes, I'm going to stretch out my quads. I'm going to swing my arms, get my shoulders back into gauge, especially my biceps. So for me to hit the intended stimulus, it's going to be maximize how I do it, not that I changed what I do. Okay. So let's take, I don't know, let me think of somebody else in the gym that I would help out with this. I don't know. Let's go with, let's say Joe. He's been doing this forever. He's got 2,000 workouts under his belt. He's going to look at this and I'm going to actually tell him what I'm going to do, because I know that if he does what I do, he'll beat me. And he'll probably go a little bit faster. Now, knowing Joe, he'll probably want to put more push-ups together, and that's fine. I don't know his push-ups, so we're going to have to talk about that. Hey, buddy, if you did 4 at a time for, 150 push-ups, can you make that keep going with the rest in between? He'll probably say yes. He probably could do 5 at a time. Or maybe he could do 3 sets of 10. I don't know. I cannot. So there's going to be a difference in the how we approach the workout in order to hit the intended stimulus. Now, let's take someone else. Let's say you've been there for 3 months. You're like, yeah, I can do the movements, but I can't do them well. Then going to the intermediate might be the best thing, right? It just drops off 10 reps from everything. So it's still a pretty hefty workout. And you get to move through it. So you might do the 5 or do the intermediate one. So it's 10 pull-ups, 20 push-ups, 30 sit-ups, 40 squats. And if you did it in a 3 to 4 minute time domain, then yeah, let's keep it there. Now, here's what I would do. I would adjust in the middle of the workout. I know this is crazy. You're like, Andy, but I'm doing something different each round. That's fine. You want to hit the intended stimulus. The intended stimulus is that you can do these movements and push yourself for 3 minutes and then have an equal amount of rest. So now every single time it's a sprint, right? So it changes the workout completely. If you're doing it, let's say it takes you 9 minutes to do the first round, then you get 3 minutes of rest, you're squashed for the rest of them. You're probably going to do it way more than 9 minutes, right? So I like the idea of taking that intermediate and saying, hey, I have no problem with the movements. Let me just knock off a few reps and see how I do. If you did it in 2 minutes, yeah, add some back in there. If you did it in 4 minutes, then let's drop off 5 more of each. You're like, but wait, I'm not getting the same workout. It doesn't matter. It's the intended response, which means we are getting the same workout, right? So if I can do this workout in under 30 minutes and it takes you 60 minutes, we're totally not getting the same workout, the intended stimulus, right? Even though we're doing the same movements. It's just like this. If I said I did 100 pull-ups, you're like, okay, well, that sounds interesting, but define that. Give me a time domain. If I said I did 100 pull-ups in 100 days, you're like, well, that's kind of stupid. It doesn't, so what? If I said I did 100 pull-ups in 1 day, you're like, well, that's a little bit better, right? That sounds good. I like that 24-hour time domain, or maybe it's 16 hours, right? Now, if I said I did 100 pull-ups in 10 minutes, that's very different. If I did 100 pull-ups in 1 minute, that's different. I did 100 pull-ups all at once. That's very different. And every single time we did 100 pull-ups. But what we're getting out of those 100 pull-ups is vastly different. And that's what the intended stimulus is all about. We want everybody to hit that same stimulus. So if I had a tired-o-meter and I put it on you, it says, yeah, you're tired like in an 8. And then I'm tired at an 8, even though I did way more, or you did way more, right? So that's the intended stimulus. All right, let me go to another workout. I'm going to, let's see, can I do that? Can I move this to the next day? Let's see, yeah. Yes. Okay. So April, they have that up. And what is it? Okay. So it is 5 rounds, run 200 meters, and then 6 clean and jerks, 125 pounds for girls, 185 pounds for guys. All right. I'm looking at this and already I'm a little nervous about the 185 pounds. Knowing Danny, what she did for us is, hey, let's do 10 to 15 minutes or maybe even 20 minutes on the clean and jerk. I'm going to go check this out because Danny does a great job of adding into the program so that 1, if you miss something, you can get it. And 2, we might as well use the buildup for the clean and jerk productively and do something with it, right? And categorize it and put the numbers in. Okay, so I'm going to look down. The intended stimulus for this is 7 to 12 minutes. I'm going to zero it in and say, hey, it's probably 9 minutes or 9.5. Is that the right one? So 9.5 minutes is the middle line. They want the runs to take less than 1:15. The clean and jerks should take less than 1:15. So that's 2:30 for each round, right? Fast singles on the clean jerk. So this is good. This is good to know because I was about to say there's no way I can cycle 185 pounds. So they're saying they want you to drop it and go. That is a circus trick that I can do. So in the intended stimulus here, I'm looking this thinking, I actually might be able to do that. My clean and jerk weight at 185 is getting kind of dicey. So there's a maybe on that. I'd want to warm up my clean and jerk and see how I'm feeling. I probably would drop it down to 155 or 165, knowing that I can move a little bit faster. I'm still lifting something heavy. Do I have to go RX? No. This is why when the open comes, I do so well because I'm hitting the intended stimulus all the time and I'm practicing the movements. I'm not going, I'm just going to do the heavy weight because it said it. There's no reason to do that. They have to pick something. And what they're saying when they pick this is, hey, a 25-year-old guy doing CrossFit, 185 is going to be a moderate loading. For me, 185 is really beeping heavy. And that's not what they've intended. So by just going with the weight, I've broken the intended stimulus because I'm just focusing it on my body. What they could do, which would be super cool, and we did this for maybe like 3 months in the summer a couple years ago, was that every workout was given as a percentage of your 1 rep max. Then everybody's pushing a relatively similar loading, right? All right, it's coffee and a cough. Again, with these allergies in the April, Georgia time frame. Okay, so the intermediate, first thing they do is they're going to drop the weight. Okay, so yeah, they did 155. That's probably what I would pick. Do I want to pick 185 or 155 just because they said it? No, I just know that I can move 155 at a discomfortable ability, and that's a moderate to heavy loading for me, 155. 185 is like nearing my max. Could I do it? Here's something you could do. If I want to hit that intended stimulus, but I want to slant towards strength, man, leave it at 185 and just do 2 of them, right? Do a 100-meter run and then do maybe 2 or 3. Now you've broken it up even more, so you've got a jog or a run to kind of let you cool back down. Then you can come back in and do your movement. Again, I know it's not RX and I know you're changing it, but you're getting a little bit closer to their intended stimulus while you slant towards a strength side of it. If you were like, hey, I want to slant towards endurance, great, make it a 400-meter run or a 300-meter run, or even better, drop the weight and the reps down. So it's a 200-meter run, and now I'm doing 3 clean and jerks at 95 pounds, right? So you get way more running into it. Okay, beginners, still a 200-meter run. See, I disagree with that completely. And then they've got the clean jerks because they said, hey, we want the time domain to be 115 on the run. Beginner, what does that mean and who are they? Let's say it's someone who just kind of came in and they're overweight or their knees are bad, but they want to still give running a shot. You're still doing 200 meters. Maybe it takes them 4 minutes to do 200 meters. So what I would do instead is say, hey, when we're warming up, I want you to jog out to the 50 and turn around and come back. Let me know how long that took you. If they say 60 seconds, I mean, perfect, because you're going to get slow over time, right? So I would drop that down, but I would use the warm-up to kind of figure out that placing. And then they didn't drop the reps. They dropped the weight. So it goes to 55 pounds for girls, 75 pounds for guys. Again, it's a broad stroke of a scale or modification. In this case, scaling. They didn't modify anything. So that's another thing. They don't really ever do any modifying. So let's say Jamie comes in the gym, says, my shoulder still kind of bothers me. The jerk is not going to be good. I'm going to ask her, hey, how does the clean feel? She's like, good. I'm like, all right, let's back that up. Do we want to do any sort of pressing at all? She's like, yeah, it's part of my rehab. I'm like, great. Let's get 2 dumbbells. Let's do 6 clean and jerks and then get 2 dumbbells and do 6 presses. So something not aggressive on your shoulder that allows you to move it and express some of that fitness as well as any of that PT or rehabbing you're supposed to be doing, right? So that's a modification. CrossFit can't do that. They can't ask you guys those questions. They can only give a broad stroke. So this is a scale that they're doing. So scale and modification being slightly different, right? Scale is usually weights and reps. Modification is I'm changing the movement because of something. Okay, so let me go and check. As I said, I bet you Danny would have put in there. Yeah, look right there. I can see it. So if you're looking at my screen, you see this on Tuesday. She's got clean and jerk. We're going to do heavy set of 3. So she wants to do 3 unbroken clean and jerks and build to a heavy set. You have 10 minutes. What's the point of that? Lift some heavy, right? Don't just get to the weight and stop, but let's build up and see where you're at. Let's build some new numbers. Let's watch you. It gives me a structured opportunity to coach you in this environment. Yeah, it's true. Someone could be like, hey, I'm just going to do 95 pounds and I'm just going to start right with that. Well, I wouldn't, and I know people do that. Don't do that. You want some warm-up time. So if we're going to have some warm-up, might as well use it productively. Now I can log and score it, and as a coach, I can do a little bit more watching and seeing. All right, so for us, she's also got the intended stimulus pasted in here. I love it, so you guys can see this. I started mentioning this the other week ago, and one of our members, man, who was it? I don't remember. Maybe it was Tyler. I don't know. Tyler, if it was you, good job. If it wasn't, well, good job for you anyway, buddy. He said, wait a minute. So what you're saying is I do not have to go RX. I'm like, correct. You do not. Do not ever. He's like, man, for some reason, I really feel like I need to go RX. I'm like, nope, you don't. I hardly ever do. What you really want to do is hit the intended stimulus. So he's been doing that. And if it was him, good job. If it's not you, like I said, you guys keep it up. And getting a lot more out of the workouts. RX is just a number they have to pick. I would love it if they did everything percentages and time based, but it's too hard to like walk through every single person and go like, hey, how far can you go in a minute 15? What is your 60% lift, right? So it's easier to give this is RX, then we can compare if we want to. And of course, most of these workouts are never going to pop up again. So, having a comparison on this is not so important, but the named workouts like Jackie or Fran or Barbara or things like that, that's great to have. Or a lift like clean and jerk. So like I said, so today on Tuesday, we have it added in so that we can see that. Okay, so the intended stimulus, hopefully you're getting the idea. His intended stimulus is about 9.5 minutes to do this workout. I look at this workout. Could I do what he's got written as RX in 9.5 minutes? The answer is no. 6 clean and jerks. So that's 30 clean and jerks at 185 is going to take me quite a while. So Grace is 30 clean and jerks for time at 135, and it takes me about 4 minutes. So right there, I've got 4 minutes just in the lifts at 135. So there's an exponential curve to the heavy weight. So 135 to 185 is a tremendous jump. I know it's only 50 pounds, but for me, it's nearly insurmountable. So I would say it's going to take me 3 times as long, so probably 12 minutes just to do the clean and jerks at that weight, if I can even finish it. So yeah, that's not going to work. So I'm going to drop it down immediately to the intermediate, and I'll probably put plates on there such that at 155, I can peel another plate off if I need to. Okay, so that's the intended stimulus. Let me go one more so you guys can see the intended stimulus for Wednesday. All right, this is, let's see, are we doing the same one? Box jumps, handstand push-ups. Yeah, we are. So the intended stimulus is to get about 14 rounds. So this is a 4-time, is it? Yeah, so it's complete as many rounds as possible in 9 minutes up. So remember, I said that a CrossFit workout is usually 8 to 12 minutes. Why? Because I know that dosing is going to give you maximal output for a minimal input, right? And we got a couplet, box jumps, handstand push-ups. I will not do handstand push-ups, and I don't like to jump on the box, so I'm going to change this immediately for health reasons. So I will do box step-ups. I have a adventure race coming up with Evie, and if I do box jumps, there's a chance that I could mess my knee up a little bit, so I don't want to. Plus, I just don't want to mess my knee up any more than I did on that adventure race, right? So good news is it's been 10 years since I tore the meniscus in my knee, and I could do everything. I just need to be smart about it, right? So the reps are 2, 4, 6, 8, etc. I would do box steps, and then I would do probably just regular push-ups. Actually, knowing that we had just done push-ups the other day because we had Barbara and then we had push jerks, I might change that around into something else that I can't think of at the moment. But I would probably change it to something different so I don't have that same pushing motion 3 times in a row. And then, so they do an intermediate and a beginner. So they got shoulder dumbbell presses. Yeah, I could do that. So they said they want you to get 14 rounds. An advanced athlete could get 18. So really we're looking at maybe 16 is their like the average. But for us, it's going to be 14 because we're more normal people. And they've got 15 box jumps every minute. And then you can do your handstand push-ups in sets of 2 for most rounds. So that would actually be possible for me. I just don't like coming down on my head like that. So I've stopped doing them. So I would modify this one immensely. Now, I am not opposed to coming in and saying, hey, good job, y'all are going to do that. I'm going to hop on the rower and just row because this is something that I'm not going to do. And I'm okay with that. Again, I'm in the gym. It counts. I'm doing something for my body. Just because I didn't do the exact same thing, so what? The first rule of Fight Club is to show up. Second rule of Fight Club is don't do anything stupid that'll stop you from showing up tomorrow, right? So one, I showed up, and two, the box jumps and the handstand push-ups are going to stop me from showing up, so I would avoid them or I would modify them. Okay, so if I look at our workout, so Danny's got in there that plus some skill work. So she's got kettlebell shoulder presses. So yeah, something different, getting our shoulders in there. So would I do that? The answer is no, because I know I'm going to be doing all of these workouts. I plan to come the entire week. Well, actually, I have a race at the end of the week for this particular week. So I'm going to be going a little bit slower and focusing more on just getting warm and moving. But on a normal week, if I was coming in every day, the answer is no, because I just did some pressing here. I did some pressing the day before, and I did pressing on Monday as well. So I'm not going to do extra work. I didn't miss anything, so I don't really feel like I need to. But I will do the stretching and rolling. Okay. So I wanted to show you some other people's websites where they talked about, let's see where this one is. So this is CrossFit Revival, the significance of targeting stimulus or targeted stimulus, maximizing gains and preventing plateaus. And that's actually really true. So the idea of the stimulus is to give you that maximum input for the minimum dosing, right? I'll just kind of brief through these, but so this article, what they threw in there is muscle fiber activation and recruitment, energy system training, neuromuscular adaptation, elevated oxygen consumption, skill development and mastery, and some periodization for systematic progress. That's actually probably something that I disagree with right there. We don't really periodize anything. Periodizing would be, well, I take that back. We do. We look at what we've done today and what we're going to do next week and the month out, and that everything kind of like iterates on top of itself. So we don't just like randomly put stuff in there. We actually look at what we're doing. So it is periodized to a degree, but it is not periodized in terms of I'm doing a lifting cycle. We don't do that. So hypertrophy and lifting cycles have no place inside of CrossFit. It's the best way to minimize the gains of both of them. I would just pick one of those programs and then do it. So do, hypertrophy or CrossFit. Don't do them both. I mean, you can't do them both. They fight each other. It'd be like being on the no sugar diet. It just wouldn't make any sense. Okay, let's see here. So CrossFit Roots. This is a great gym out in Colorado, run by, oh man, it's a lady that is on all the videos. Nicole Carlson. I think it's Carlson. She's on all the videos for CrossFit. But anyway, she's talking right here about constantly varied. And let me see if I can find what I liked in there about the stimulus. I think it was really just this one sentence right here that I liked, but I like a lot of her stuff. So the possibilities are truly endless. This is just like, what are you doing? Constantly varied functional movements, constantly varied versus random. So the possibilities are truly endless, but by definition of varied stimuli can begin to repeat themselves as well. So it becomes important as a coach to keep an eye on what movement patterns we are hitting, at what time domains, what loadings, and what amount of volume, so that we don't overdo any one particular stimulus, right? So this is the idea of hitting the intended stimulus. If we're always going heavy, then we are not doing what was programmed. We're kind of making it up on our own. So stimulus and scaling on this website. All right, so in this one, they're actually talking about how they did some scaling. And anyway, so the article that he wrote up here says, the program rep scheme was hard and very few athletes completed the workout as prescribed. That's totally fine, right? Nearly everyone had to alter the workout, some fractionally, some drastically. However, everyone achieved a very similar stimulus. Lots of pulling and pushing movements combined with a tough conditioning element. Right? So they're going for the stimulus. So again, it's this idea that, especially in the bro culture, hey, we all just lift heavy. What do you do for strength? We lift heavy. What do you do for cardio? We lift heavy quickly, right? Yes, sort of. So we want you to hit a stimulus to gain the overarching thing would be harder to kill-ism. So rather than being super muscular and strong or being super endurance-y or super balance-y or super stretchy, we went harder to kill. And what does harder to kill say? I've got a podcast I'm going to be doing on the zenith zone and basically helping you figure out your life expectancy. And part of that is like all the things we do. So what's your VO2 max? So, how good are you using oxygen? What is your strength? What is your endurance? So basically it says you better be pretty well-rounded and decent at all things, not super awesome at one thing at the detriment to the others, if you want to be harder to kill. Now, if you're not interested in being harder to kill, living a long time, and defeating all of age's diseases that come after you and eating bad foods, diseases that come after you, then maybe CrossFit's not for you, right? So the intended stimulus is super important for you to keep in the front of your mind when you're looking at the workout. And we're going to be pasting it into the workout from now on, at least for a while, and having you guys see it so you feel it's weird. Because we've been adding stretching in there, y'all have been doing it because it's there and you can click it. Because we add, do this in 20 minutes, you do it. So we're going to add the stimulus there in writing so that you can see it and you'll go, and you'll feel the freedom of, you're going to let me scale how I need to and modify how I need to hit the intended stimulus. Yes, that's what we've wanted this whole time. Now, there are some diehards that'll go RX no matter what. Totally fine, man. You guys are adults. I don't care. You're doing less for your fitness than just doing CrossFit and the stimulus, but that's okay. Especially if you want to slant it one way or the other. I'd like to be stronger. Great. Just lift a little bit heavier every time. I'd like to have more endurance. Great. Lift lighter and add some more time domains into it or minutes or whatever into it. And that's totally fine. So that is the stimulus. I'm going to hopefully have this out there for everyone to see put it into an email and podcast or whatever so that you guys can get a hold of it at any time. Maybe pass it on to your friends. This is a great conversation, not only for the guys who've been here for a long time, but brand new people. A lot of my buddies who now are 50 and starting CrossFit, this is the thing I bring up. Don't worry about scaling. Hit the stimulus. Had a great conversation with my buddy Cam, who's been doing CrossFit now for about a year and a half. And the workout was 15 deadlifts at 225 and 15 burpees over the bar for 5 rounds. No, 5 rounds? 3 rounds. And they wanted you to do it in under 4 minutes. I'm like, okay, let's talk about it. What would you do? He's like, yeah, what do I do? I said, so first thing I would do is ask your coach. But the intended stimulus is 4 minutes, something heavy with a little bit of cardio on the burpee, right? Gymnastic movement. Okay, so 225, that should be a very moderate, medium loading. Is that heavy for you? He's like, yeah, I can't even do that. I'm like, all right, then right away I drop it to maybe 100 pounds. He's like, well, that's pretty light. I'm like, yes, it's supposed to be. He's like, all right, so the normal the big dog CrossFit guys, 225 is super light. 15, could you do that? He's like, yeah, I think I can do 15. Like, would you drop it or would you do unbroken? He's like, I don't know. I said, how about the burpees? He's like, yeah, the burpees are going to kill me. I can do 3 before I'm just totally winded. I'm like, okay. So maybe what I would do is do set to 5 on everything. Do 100-pound 5 deadlifts and then 5 burpees and go back to the deadlifts. That way you're pushing and moving and you can do 45 of each because that's what 15 times 3 is, right? And you could probably do it in the 4 minutes. Or the other way to do it is go back and forth like that for 4 minutes, knowing that it's going to be over soon. Take deep breaths and just live in the suck. I don't know what he did. I'm going to see him on Tuesday after I see Evan at UGA. I'm going to go catch up with him. We're going to go to his gym, do some CrossFit at CrossFit Copa, and then we're going to go out to dinner. So I get to see what they're doing out there. All right, guys, this is intended stimulus. If you got questions on it, you can always find me, Andy@CrossFitGarage.com, or I'm coaching you at the gym. Just literally ask me, or my phone number is all over the website. Just use that. Y'all be good.